What is up, NFL fans? It is your boy, Kevin Phillip Fox, here with the Legit Football NFL podcast. And look, Anthony Weiner, he is tragically missed. He will be back, but we do have a scab producer, and his name is Adrian Revito, and he is also co-hosting the show today from Down Under. What is up, Mr. Age? How you living today, brother?
I'm doing so well. It's nice to be the scab producer. I can give myself walk-up music. And you know what? Look, I miss Ant as much as the next man, but of all the days that I didn't want him to be here, today's probably the top of that list.
I would
And we'll
agree
get to
more
that.
than anything. Yeah, you're not gonna get dunked on too much. Oh, Jimmy Ray in the chat, and he's coming back next week. We could not be happier to welcome Jimmy Ray back to the show. He's here with us in spirit, and he's here with us with this beautiful little YouTube profile photo that we have here of him. I think standing on the Indianapolis Colts field in the end zone. So
Looking sharp, right?
that's
That's a
pretty
sharp
sick.
look.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, bro. Jimmy Ray is sneaky tall. Fun fact about Jimmy Ray: sneaky
You know,
tall.
if I ever get out there to America and meet you boys in person, sneaky short.
I
We
was
can
gonna
balance
say,
each other out.
you give me a tall vibe, but like what are you like
No.
5'8"?
Well, see, it's weird. We don't do, we're metrics. So I'll look it up while we're talking. What's
Yeah,
what
I
my
was gonna say, yeah, you gotta give me the transfer there because
It's yeah. So you do you, and I'll look that
we
up
got
while we
Jimmy Ray 5'10" and a half, and Adrian is checking his conversions of his height right now. But ladies and gentlemen, we had a great week 3 in the NFL. I'm coming to you with my Buffalo Bills hat on. Very happy to see that the Bills are 2-1, righted the ship a little bit. Adrian, not so happy, coming off of literally 12 hours of a shellacking in prime time. Adrian, how you feel about that Packers game last night?
It's been pretty rough. Sure. Well, look, we can kick off our TNF recap.
Yeah,
And I will just say that it's, by the way, 5'6", just over 5'6". Anyway,
he is short.
yeah, I am.
He is short.
It's been a rough few hours, and Anthony, rightfully so, as to be expected, has been giving me a little bit of ribbing via Twitter.
Gloating.
Yeah, and look,
Gloating.
and to his credit, I would have been way worse. I'm such a poor winner. Like, so yeah, that would have been rough. Look, the Detroit offensive line was where the game was won. They were just absolutely bullying the Packers. I'm not going to use the Packers offensive line injuries as an excuse because injuries happen. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was out. So like that, and they had some key players missing or go out during the game. Detroit are just playing exactly that Dan Campbell, that gritty Dan Campbell style. And to be honest with you, I sort of didn't really consider this. But if you think about the Packers' last really big losses, it's been 2 to Detroit, San Francisco twice, Bucks, like these like kind of rough, physical push the line teams that really have Matt LaFleur's number. Didn't get the running game going at all, whereas Detroit Montgomery was good for 6 to 7 yards almost every time he touched the ball.
Yeah, they're getting bullied. They get bullied up front a little bit, which is weird because they got some stout guys up there. They have a nice line. I'd like to see them kind of step up and be a little bit tougher, a little bit bigger, play to their size a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Kenny Clark's out there.
On the D line, yeah, and he's big. They've moved him out, so they had him nose tackling, and they've pushed him out a bit to the side now.
I almost wonder if that's not working. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not liking what I'm seeing from their front.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary is probably coming back off his ACL, he's absolutely tearing new ones on the line. So yeah, same here. So look, I think I think their O line is where they need a bit more consistency. Bakhtiari is on IR now, but he's sort of always in, out, not sure. Aldridge Jenkins has been out for a couple of weeks. So look, I'm not going to, like I said, I don't want to make excuses. The Lions deserve this win. The Packers look like they might muster another little comeback. There was a gutsy 4th and 9 call that Matt LaFleur went for and turned into points. Jordan Love, the accuracy issues, and I'm not overly, for what it's worth, I'm not overly concerned because he has some beautiful throws and he has some poor throws where they're just way off. But I think, I know he's been sitting behind a quarterback for 3 years, but I think you've got to accept it's his first year as a starter. So, I don't expect that he'll have the same rookie mistakes that a Bryce Young might have or a CJ Stroud, but I do expect that he's going to have some mistakes.
Yeah, he's got to clean it up a little bit from last night. Some ill-advised throws, ill-advised decisions. Didn't look as dialed in as he had in previous weeks. We talked on the Fantasy Q&A show last night that it had the makings of a shootout, and that just didn't happen. Love kind of, and it's one of those games, Adrian, where don't you hate those games where they're over before they start?
Yeah.
It kind of felt like one of those games where, like, ultimately, like, once the terrible, like, almost like the yips or, like, the jitters or the primetime football, all the excitement wore off, like, the Packers settled into the game, I thought, pretty nicely, like you said, mounted a little bit of a comeback. I was of the mindset at halftime when I saw the line was, like, Detroit minus 21.5. I was like, "Hammer Packers," because there's no way they're gonna have as bad of a second half as they did in the first half, and they did.
Mm.
Of course, they went out there, they were competitive, almost made it a ball game. Um, they screwed up a lot. They didn't,
Yeah.
in the process of making it a ball game, the some of the decision making, yeah, great to go for it on that 4th down, but, it felt like, yeah, it kinda felt like a game where it was over before it started, and I felt like they were too demoralized to get back in.
Yeah, and look, I want to give Detroit their flowers in a second. I don't want to talk all Packers, but they, 12 carries for 27 yards, didn't get Aaron Jones involved at all. So he was active for the game, really didn't get him involved. That Quay Walker, when he jumped over the line for the kick instead of making a field goal, makes it,
Tough.
turns it into 7 points. Yeah, so little mistakes here and there. Matt LaFleur, sometimes he's really feeling himself, and sometimes he sort of plays a bit conservative. But overall, look, I think the only takeaway, there's a lot of heads being called for, and that to me is a snap reaction. But the one that should be called for, Joe Barry. He's just I've had enough of Joe Barry as defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Um, but look, as I said, to Detroit's absolute credit, they played a fantastic game, very physical. Weirdly, still not getting Jimmy Gibbs that involved.
frustrating.
Montgomery's, yeah.
I love him in
But
fantasy so much, so
Montgomery's
he's
playing amazing. Like he's
right.
good for a
Yeah,
couple of tuds. I actually think he got to
3
the end zone 3 times. Yeah.
3. Tough.
Um,
Yeah, because I was a big Gibbs believer. I love those pass catching,
mm,
talented running back. Like, those are, like, my favorite. That's my favorite running back archetype. So, to see him kinda get phased out for, like, a 5 to 6 yards per carry guy, which is great. I mean, like you said, flowers to Montgomery, flowers to Goff. Look, flowers to, is it Ben Johnson or Brian Johnson? I always get the dude's name
Ben
wrong.
Johnson. Yeah.
Flowers to him, man. He schemed up dudes wide open last night. That touchdown
Yeah.
to Amon-Ra was crazy, bro. Amon-Ra St. Brown's one of the best weapons in the NFL. Why is he that open? Good
And
play
Sam
calling.
Laporta, we said this
Yeah,
when we were chatting in Twitter by Twitter. Like Sam Laporta is just looking like an absolute weapon.
he's a dog, man. He is so
Yeah.
fun to watch. Yeah, I am super impressed with Detroit. And I've been, I picked them to win the division. I've been in on Detroit. I did actually pick Green Bay last night. I kind of thought at home, I thought, Detroit has been, looking a little questionable lately. No, sir. They took care of business. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what your boys deserve.
Anyways, yeah.
Anyways, uh,
And shout out to Armand flexing on me with his height, like
oh
just
yeah. No,
flexing. Yeah.
Armand is little broing you right now real hard. So that's a good place to wrap up the TNF recap. Disappointing output from Aaron Jones. I started him in fantasy, Adrian.
Same.
I started him and Gibbs, and I got vomit all over me. Um, so moving right along, we're gonna touch base on some week 3 action just before we head on to the week 4 previews, which is the coup de grace of the show. Let's be real. But the Miami Dolphins, Buffalo's division rival, dropped 70 points on Denver last week. Impressive offensive output. Unbelievable what they did, especially from a running standpoint with Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert both going for 4 touchdowns. Not something I thought I would see in my lifetime.
How you feeling about it? Feel like
You
this
know,
could this could
there's a lot to
what's the panic scale at?
for me as a Bills fan of Miami.
Yep.
I put it at 5.5,
Yeah, okay.
6.
That's probably
You
where it
know,
should be.
right? Like, let's be measured here, right? Miami in 3 games is 3-0. It's an impressive 3-0. They have a 70-point burger. They did what they did in week 1. Week 2, the Patriots kind of slowed them down a little bit. It was kind of a more, if Mac Jones isn't Mac Jones, Patriots are in that game. That,
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill 4 for 50 that game. I mean, everybody's talking like they're this unstoppable unit. Like, they've had a couple good games for sure. Who have they played? Right? What defenses have they played?
Well, the Broncos defense was the problem that game.
Yeah,
Offense is actually not too bad. Russ
no,
threw for over 300. Like,
they still dropped 20. Patriots, and then remind me again, who did Miami boat race in week 1?
no, you're testing my memory.
Oh, it was the Chargers, and it was a close game. They had to come
That
back to
was close
win.
game too.
So, I'm not taking anything away from them, and people are touting them as the division favorite, the conference favorite, the this, that, and the third. But Adrian, I don't know if you remember. Actually, I'm gonna text you something, and maybe you, producer Scab, can get this on the screen for the people. Or if I just private chat you what I want it to be.
That'd do
And
that.
maybe you
Private
can pull
chat
it
me.
up on the screen for me. Give me 1 second.
That's okay. Well, let me panda while you're doing that. And I'm just
Yeah.
going to say, and because I made this sound drop specifically for this moment, I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again. I think it's time to eat crow on the Tyreek Hill is in the top 5.
Yeah, I'm with
Wait
you
for
on
it.
that. Mhm.
Wait. Time to eat that
That's
crow.
ours.
I'm
That's
saying,
ours.
yeah.
That's our
All
crow,
right.
baby. We're devouring that stuff right now. And it's okay because Adrian's pulling up something for me right now, and he's gonna share it on the screen for those watching on YouTube. Um, and look,
Uh,
I really like what I'm seeing out of Miami. I want to make that perfectly clear. They're being touted as a division favorite. They're being touted as the Super Bowl favorite. That's fine. They deserve it. They're 3-0. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. But they are playing somebody now this week who I think is a worthy opponent. I think the Bills-Dolphins game, we're going to talk about it in the week 4 recap, but after this game, it'll be a lot easier to assess what we've seen from Miami so far because ultimately the Bills should be 3-0. Josh Allen beat himself week 1. Nobody's going to take that off the board. Like, that's a real problem that they have at times. But, at the end of the day, I'm not at all angry at people, touting Miami, and they deserve it after that performance, Adrian. Any luck finding the photo? No luck.
I'm
No
looking
stress.
at, cannot find what you're looking
No
for.
stress. I'm gonna visually reference it for our audio listeners. After the Dolphins' Week 3 win last year against, I think it was the Bills, but it might have been a different team. The Dolphins actually poured Gatorade on Mike McDaniel. And I should have gotten this to Adrian before the show. I didn't think about it. I have the photo. Maybe I can show it on the screen, but it will be ugly. But to me, that's what's happening this year as well. I don't really think that it's that it's that worthy of like
I'm
celebration
with
in
you.
through 3.
That's why I said your panic sale is about right, because if they keep this momentum going, then that is a real danger. But I just don't trust the Dolphins to do it 17 games. This is the same thing about the Cowboys just before they laid an egg to the Cardinals. Like I don't I they're just not the kind of team that, and particularly Tua because of injuries, they just don't put it together for 17 games. So it's fantastic. It was, a bit of humble pie where they didn't kick the field goal to get the record for the most NFL points. But really, it was one of those games where just anything that could have gone wrong for the Broncos went wrong. Those 2 fumbles by Sutton. One of those interceptions should have just been a bat down. Oh wow, that's a terrible photo. Mike McDaniel will be hating that.
It's real. And that was week 3 last year. So let's all take a deep breath,
Yeah.
right?
Look,
Um,
I hear you on that.
but the 70-point outburst can't be ignored. It's impressive. I'm not gonna just sit here and rain on Dolphins fans parade. Like, you deserve it. And Brian McFadden, our loving host of the show, him and I had a nice little conversation about what we expect from the game. And let's not forget, he picked Miami to miss the playoffs. So
He doesn't strike me as someone that would dunk on you, even if you he just seems cautiously optimistic.
you're right. You're right. Him and I had a really nice conversation after Buffalo sent his favorite team home last year. So there's love. There's love, for sure. Adrian, next we got Cardinals upsetting the Cowboys. What's your panic alarm for the Cowboys after this game?
Well, I look, the Cowboys lay 1 or 2 eggs every single year, so I'm not surprised. I'm not
Nothing
shocked.
new.
We have to do a quick shout out here because we know we love the guys who are in the chat. We love how you guys
Don't
bring
do
their
it.
energy here. But we're gonna play a
Don't
quick
do
clip
it.
here. I'm gonna play a quick clip.
Yep. We have a bold call in the chat. Joe Crack predicting Arizona getting the upset.
Wow.
Again, I'll bet a cold brew on it, brother. That's 2. You might be owing me 2. I'll give you my Venmo. Where's
Rough.
that crow? You got that crow for me?
For what it's worth, I could have cut that earlier, left out that cold brew part, but I didn't want to.
Oh, no, I love it. No, shout out to Joey Crack. He's the GOAT. He knows it. He's not in the chat right now, but I'm sure when I send him this clip, he'll be really happy. But he's gonna come out to LA to watch Bills Chargers with me, so I'll get him then.
Nice, but To answer your question, panic scale, not that high on the Cowboys. It's Cardinals are weird. They built a lead first two games. They're playing good, playing
They're good.
pluckier than we expected.
That's a good.
Um,
That's a good term. Plucky. I like that's Australian
yeah,
right there. I like
yeah,
that.
correct. Josh Dobbs, 4 incompletions, only 189 yards through the air, but he ran for 55. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
James Conner, like turning back the clock, hitting 100 nearly MTD. So yeah, look, the Cardinals are playing better than expected. The Cowboys kind of laid an egg. Eh, they'll do that 2 times a year, 3 times a year, every year.
Yeah. I'll go
And
with a
this is one of
4, just
yeah.
because like it is the Cardinals. Like this isn't like the Browns or like the Colts. Like a
Mm.
team like an upstart team with like some spunk or like a young QB. Like I mean Dobbs. Is there a Dobbs conversation to have yet, or is he still back
I
up?
don't know I don't know if he's
Okay.
look,
He's got moxie. He's
he
got
does, but if they're
moxie.
gonna get rid of Kyler or not bring back like that, that's your franchise. If you're getting rid of him, it's for another franchise. I don't see Josh Dobbs taking you to the promised land.
Probably not, but I'm impressed, man. I like what I'm seeing from the kid. He's an easy guy to root for.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Josh Dobbs thus far in his career. And that being said, Adrian, I think it might not be a bad time to head into our main topic du jour, our
No,
meat
I
and
got this. I got
potatoes.
this. I got this. That's the
Oh,
scat producer at work.
it's
I'm not
back,
ready to
baby.
go. Yeah,
No,
I'm
it's
not
back,
ready to
baby.
go.
I love it. No, but I'm so excited, man. We're talking every NFL game from week 4. So buckle in, folks. If you only watch one thing about this podcast other than us dunking on ourselves repeatedly for the first 16 minutes, fast forward to this because that's just us being good guys. That's just us letting you know that, we hold ourselves accountable on this show. But that being said, Adrian, let's kick it off. And Falcons at Jaguars. Remind me, who's got the lead on this one?
This one's on me.
Take it.
So let's talk about Falcons and Jags. So look, it's been a slow start for the offense on Jags. Right, they've stopped the run. That's been great. No one has topped 120 yards rushing against the Jags, which is good news because the Falcons really operate through the ground game. Uh, those two losses, I'm not going to say 100%. You could chalk them down. This is an eat crow episode because Calvin Ridley's been an issue for them with the drops. He's had some terrible drops. He's got AJ Terrell there this week. Jesse Bates is probably quietly one of the Falcons' best acquisitions. So he's going to have a hard time. So he was on fire in week 1, week 2, and 3. It's been terrible. Trevor Lawrence has played fantastic for what it's worth. Despite their slow offensive start, there's been some absolute dimes that have just been dropped. And that's rough. So the Jags offense is they've really got to come out a little bit more firing. We can't wait. They can't go through this losing streak every year. Doug Peterson needs to get them going sooner. As far as the Falcons, they're going to be going up probably the best run defense they've been against so far. So they're going to force it to Ritter. He has been. So we talked about Ritter, and one of the plus columns for Ritter is he doesn't make mistakes. He, in the the back end of last year, no interceptions, kept the ball safe. He has been making some big mistakes. He is ranked number. So don't look at the box score in PFF on turnover worthy throws. So throws that could easily be intercepted. He's ranked number 1 in the league. He's making mistakes. He's had some fumbles. I understand it was a small sample size last year, and it's still a small sample size. But Ritter, if the way to beat the Falcons, I believe, is to make them have to pass the ball. The Lions did that. They also stuffed the run, and that kept them down and got them to win. So they're playing in London. It's basically a Jags home game. They had the Jags are the number 1 team over there. That was in London. There was a talk of moving them overseas. So I'm putting the Jags to take this one in a close one, 23-20.
Home game for them, huh?
Yeah.
Home game for the Jags. Falcons at Jags. Yeah. So say your score one more time. Sorry.
23-20. Jags take it.
And they're the 3-point favorites.
Yep.
So you're going with Vegas on this one.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So Adrian, here's what I'm thinking, right? We're looking at Falcons, Jags. Falcons are your darling team. Falcons are Brian's darling team. You're abandoning them here. Is what I'm hearing.
Well, look, there's very few teams. Yeah, just actually, just very few things in life that I won't just jump ship as soon as you're losing. So I'm just saying, legit football got to keep on the way up, man.
You don't say, man. No, I can respect the pick. I mean, look, here's the thing. You said Trevor Lawrence has looked fantastic. I'll beg to differ. A lot of what I'm waiting to see from Trevor Lawrence has more to do with those game-winning drives, like those game-winning, game-turning plays. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and against the Chiefs, he looked very pedestrian. They got their their doors blown off last week against a team that a lot of people think is going to be one of the bottom 5 teams in the league, Adrian. Like, what's that about? Like, that's not
Look,
good.
fantastic might have been a bit of an overshoot, but I will
Hey,
say this: some of this stuff is not his fault. He's got 2 interceptions. One of them
sure.
were not his fault. There's been some drops on absolute. That's all I'm saying is he's not. He's playing enough to win games.
Yeah, and I'm the biggest Texans truther that there is. So I'm not even I'm gonna
They're
pretend
your
like I wasn't
boys.
even shocked by that game, even though I was. I will take the Falcons in this game because I think that the running game is gonna be on fire in this game. And I think weird stuff happens in those. Boom. Weird stuff happens in those international games. Right? They're always weird, fluky, fun games. It's a 6:30 kickoff in LA AM. I don't know if I'm gonna wake up for it. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how I'm feeling that day. That would be
Yeah, I mean, I
that's
want to feel
between me and
sorry for
God
you.
right now.
I want to feel sorry for you, but I'll be getting up at 3 a.m. to watch the Packers. So
Oh, you shouldn't feel sorry for me. If anything, I actually talked to you about this last week. So in Eastern, it's 1 p.m. West Coast, 10 a.m. What's that kickoff for you? The main slate.
the Jags. I actually have
No,
to
not
find
even the
out.
Jags. I'm talking the main slate of games every week. Like when
Well, prime time. So the Packers for me started at 10:15, which is great.
last
But
night,
then
10:15
yeah, but
a.m.
then 10:15 a.m.
Okay.
But the first slate of games, so where they were playing in the early slot, that's 3 a.m. for me.
Okay, so 3 a.m. is the 1 p.m. slot for you.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
heard. That's crazy. So, and you do that every week. You wake up for that every week.
Look, sometimes I'll wake up at 6, which is not unusual for me now with the little one. Like 6 is sort of standard, and then I won't
Yeah.
check the scores and I'll watch it. And it's nice. I can skip all the commercial breaks, or ad breaks. So yeah, it's not that bad.
Wow, man, that's crazy. Okay. I see because I don't know about the 6 a.m. thing. That's something I'm gonna have to find out. But I'm going with Falcons for the pick. And there's a Toy Story broadcast. Are you gonna watch it?
No, I did see that though.
I'm
Disney
gonna
Plus,
check
I
it
think.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'd be fun to watch. I might chuck it on just to see.
I'm totally gonna check it out. I got roasted for bringing that up in the fantasy Q&A show. I was like, "Oh, the Toy Story broadcast," and Brian and Demon were like, "What does that even mean?" They were like, "What are
Yeah.
you talking about?" I was like, "No, it's a thing." Like I was the crazy person. But
Yeah,
you know,
we like to embrace our youth here.
oh, 100%. Oh, and here we go. We got the game of the week, Adrian. If you got some sort of like a drop for me to emphasize how important this game is, um,
I can give you.
give me a
I
boom
love
again.
the
Give me a
optimism.
boom. Oh, yeah, there you go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's how I'm feeling right now. And I do think I should try to get my camera in focus for this, right? Right?
Yeah, but look, you can get it going.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go,
there we go.
baby.
Yeah,
He's
right
back.
back.
So listen, Bills Dolphins. I'm taking the lead on this one. I think this game has shootout all over it. Over
Oh
under
yeah.
54, Adrian. With the Bills at an implied team total. I'm not great at math, but I want to say it's like 29 points or something like that. 28 or 29 points,
I'd say
right?
so, yeah. Yep.
Right? Dude, that is so fun for betting. Throw your overs down, bro. Like
I'd be
Tua's
all over
line
this
is
over.
Tua's line is 1.5 for passing touchdowns. Josh's line is 1.5 for passing touchdowns. Um, you know, Kincaid is 25.5 receiving yards. That's 2 catches. Come on, man. Throw your overs down. Waddle 60 yards, Mostert 50 yards. Come on, bro. Free money. I'm telling you right now, go to your local betting sites unless you're 12 and throw down some money.
Shout out
As
to
far as
Chase.
as far as X's and O's go, I found out today Jordan Poyer's going to miss this game, which sucks.
That
That
does
sucks
hurt.
so bad. Over the top. I love Micah Hyde. He's great, but I don't know who we're going to have. Probably Taylor Rapp filling in for Poyer. That's a bit of a downgrade. Damar Hamlin will probably be active for the first time this season. Thank the Lord. I'm excited to see him
I think
play.
Ian Rappaport said Damar Hamlin's expected to start.
No way.
Yeah.
That is exciting.
Big
Okay,
story.
well,
Big story.
big story. I'm looking forward to that. And he's gonna be a fun story to watch all year. Thank you, Armand. He's affirmed me in saying that he will also be watching the Toy Story edition of the Falcons Jags game. I appreciate you. But that's a big factor. And to me, that kind of swings the pendulum back. I was leaning towards picking Buffalo. But missing a weapon like Poyer, an all-pro player on the back end, I do think that it might
You're not
swing
gonna
that
do it.
pendulum. I think I'm gonna
No,
do it actually. I
you
do. I
can't do
think
it.
I feel like I can't. You're right, but I might though. We'll have to see. I
All right.
still got some
You do
some
you.
still got some things to say. I think Milano and Terrell Bernard are X factors in this game. They're going to be covering the running backs and the tight ends, which I like. Those receivers are just so damn pesky. Adrian, how do you contain Hill and Waddle? It's not possible. flipping to the other side of the ball, when Josh Allen has the ball, I think he's going to attack. I think this is going to be a Josh Allen attacking game. I don't care even in the slightest if he throws a pick or two. I don't know if you saw his pick against Washington, but it was an arm punt. It was 3rd and 20, and set Washington up inside the other 20. So never, those kinds of things never bother me. I'm a very like game theory kind of guy, so it doesn't look pretty, and the box score scouts, like you said, will roast. But Josh has really been playing, in my opinion, turnover-free football since his meltdown in week 1. I'm projecting that to continue, but if he does get a little reckless in this game, I'm not going to get mad at him. I want fireworks, Josh Allen. I don't care even in the slightest if it doesn't always go perfect. I want him to try to jump over some people. But I think this is going to be a shootout. I think Diggs is going to have his way. I think Kincaid's going to have his way. I wouldn't be surprised if Baby Cook had a big game. It's fire versus fire, Adrian. And I think here's what I'll do. Because you said that I can't do it, I won't do it. Bills offense greater than sign Dolphins defense. Bills defense equal to sign or roughly equal to sign Dolphins offense. It's going to swing me back the other way. I'm going to say Bills 38, Dolphins 34.
So that was everything was on the money, and I will say this: the Dolphins, I loved it, but I am going to go against you here and pick the Dolphins. I just said you couldn't do it because you can't.
I'm not mad.
So the Dolphins have the 5 fastest players in the NFL all on their team. They've covered the spread every game. Tua it's crazy actually because Tua is the fastest in the league getting the ball out of his hands, and yet he's got the 3rd most yards. His team is so fast. He gets the ball out a couple seconds, and Tyreek Hill's 20 yards downhill. There was a clip I saw today of Shanahan talking about a new motion that Mike McDaniel did in week 1, and he's been doing, and then Shanahan and they've already copied it because it's a copycat league, and where they motion Tyreek Hill out, and as soon as he runs out, he turns up.
Oh, I've seen that. It's almost like an arena football league play. Yeah. I like that.
So I think the Dolphins, I think it's got shootout all over it, picking the over all over it. I'd say Dolphins 37-30.
Yeah, we're in the similar boat there. I'm not mad at that for you. I think we're gonna find out a lot about both of these teams. I think this is in a lot of ways each team's first true test, which is weird to say given that the Bills have a loss on their schedule. But I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. It's hard for me to look at that game with anything other than just disdain for Josh Allen's decision making that night. But that's okay. We move on. We trudge forward, Adrian, into the night. Let's keep.
So, and I want to shout out to our own personal Ian Rappaport. Armand breaking some news. We'll bring that up at the Chargers game if that's okay, Armand.
Here we go. Love that.
But let's jump into Rams Colts. So this one's for me.
Yes, sir.
Anthony Richardson back at practice. Likely he'll be back online for the Colts this week, which is great. Their rush games actually looked good. Zach Moss has averaged over 100 yards last 2 weeks. The Jonathan Taylor trade fire is burning as bright as ever. You know what? I don't want to use it a 3rd time, but I'm gonna. That's the Josh Allen books. After a big overtime win against the Ravens, their confidence is going to be booming. The Rams defense, here's the kind of mismatch. They've been uncharacteristically not that good against the run. So they're going to have their hands full here. Matt Stafford has had he hasn't protected the ball as much as he normally does, but like I said last week, I said he's playing as good as any QB in the league. Maybe that's not accurate, but he's really up there. I think there's 2 factors here. If Donald is getting after Richardson, nothing will make, even though Richardson's great outside the pocket, nothing makes a rookie QB more nervous than being flushed out of the pocket all the time and being pressured all the time. So if Donald gets after Richardson and Stafford is playing to where he's meant to be, I think the Rams will sneak a win. I think it'll be close. What's the spread? So, 0.5. So it's basically a picking game.
That's a pick 'em, 100%.
So I'm going to go the Rams 24-20. But look, the Colts, the Colts are sneaky, kind of putting together a good team for having a rookie QB. And I'm even questioning. No, I'll stick with it. Rams 24-20.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to make the same pick based just strictly on quarterback experience. There is sneaky shootout potential in this game. I don't know if it's going to be a shootout, but both offenses have the potential to just absolutely explode. Anthony Richardson is a wonderful fantasy play this week. Really every week. I kind of think might already be an every week starter based on his rushing upside and what we've already seen. When the Rams have the ball, it's going to be interesting to see how much they can protect Stafford after just the absolute meltdown that happened on Monday night. Not to mention they totally got away from Puka Nacua in the second half, which to me is part of the reason why they lost. He's a weapon, man. He's so good, and he showed it when they went back to him on that 37-yard almost touchdown in the fourth. So yeah, Rams got some gas. They got some juice, but I think it's gonna come down to quick. You're right. I'm in the same boat as you, actually. I'm gonna go with Rams 27, Colts 22.
Okay,
A little
I like
random
it.
little weird score there.
Yeah, scorigami or what?
Little scorigami action.
Alrighty.
2 scorigamis last week. Love that.
Were there?
Yeah, there's 2
Oh,
scorigamis last week.
nice.
I love that for us.
And your scorigami tracker happening here.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. We got Steelers at Texans. This one's going to be me because Texans are my boys. So, we've been looking at the Steelers all year as this team, like, especially in the preseason. Oh, they're ascendant. Oh, they got all this, that, and the third going for them. La, la, la. They've really
I
kind of.
was the mayor of that town.
You
I
were,
really
you
was.
were and before I joined, I was a late bloomer, and I almost regret it now. But that being said, it's all good. They ended up taking care of business next week against the Raiders. Well, really, the Raiders took care of themselves, but that's besides the point. So I'm looking for a bit of a bounce back game. The Texans don't have the best defense, so I'm looking for a bit of a bounce back game. I'd like to see the Steelers offense put together some juice, whether that's Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, who looks like he might actually be not good. Pat Fryermuth, George Pickens has been the one weapon you could count on in Pittsburgh's offense. I can't wait for Deontay to come back. I love him so much. One of my favorite players in the league. Always undervalued in fantasy for some reason, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens from when the Steelers have the ball. On the Texans side, dude, CJ Stroud's a baller. He is an absolute baller. Rookie of the month. And an absolute stud. Finding his weapons, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. Damian Pierce is a little questionable in fantasy so far. I kind of thought he'd be a lot better.
Same, actually. I thought he was like a cheap-ish pickup for a young player who killed it last year already.
Yeah, and I'll always be a Devin Singletary stan, so I'm not mad that he's getting some work, but I think this game is going to come down to the defenses, and I think Pittsburgh's defense is just too stifling and has too many weapons on it. I would project probably an under to hit here. I'm going to go Pittsburgh 20, Texans 17.
I had the exact same score.
You're kidding.
20 to 17 for Steelers
Holy
way.
crap.
I will say so. Yeah, exposing the bathrobe here, the old Adrian Vitoism. We actually had intended to talk about CJ Stroud's start to the season at the beginning of the show. Scab producer, I looked at the time and I thought we'll move on. So
yeah, not bad, not a bad call too. Scab producer makes some good decisions.
Yeah, I kind of undo that work by calling it out here on the show, but it is what it is, right? So
For sure.
But CJ Stroud is having an amazing start to it. 906 yards, 4 TDs, no interceptions. He's really, Tank Dell, he had 2 beautiful deep balls against the Jags that he hooked up with Tank Dell, even playing through a shoulder injury. So I think this one's the Steelers to lose, but CJ Stroud has kind of proved me wrong. In fact, I had a really large futures bet, like a kind of 16 parlay futures bet, and I had CJ Stroud throwing under 3,000 yards on there. Looking a bit rough. Right?
That's a fat L. Yeah. Sorry to hear it, brother.
It is what it is.
16 leg. Damn, you're wilding.
Yeah, I put like $10 on
it. No, dude, those with the huge payouts, I love those.
And the turnout would have been insane.
Right.
Cool. All right, shall we move on? So Vikings at Panthers. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this game. 2-0-3 teams. Whoever wins this kind of doesn't change who they are to me. Bryce Young's return to full practice is still not a lock. We might see Andy Dalton. There are a couple mismatches here. The Vikings deep blitz like crazy. Dalton and Young have actually been good against the blitz. Young, NFL is a different level, but in college, he was actually fantastic against the blitz. Miles Sanders is injured. That hurts. The Vikings run defense is terrible, 120 yards a game at the moment. But this should be kind of the worst defense the Panthers have played. So if we get Bryce Young, it might be interesting to see if he can do well against the defense. It's not fantastic. That's no shots at Brian Flores. He's got no weapons there. Kirk Cousins is playing great. believe it or not, it's hard as a 0-3 team, but he has got the seventh highest yards per attempt, seventh highest yards per attempt, 70% completion rate, highest passing TDs, highest passing yards. He's doing well. There's this is that the camera focus?
Trying to get that damn focus, bro.
Yeah, love it. Admittedly, Justin Jefferson is kind of inflating his stats, and that's fair. So I am going to, it's weird. I actually wanted to pick the Panthers to pull an upset here, but I don't know if I can see the Vikings going 0-4. I just don't know if the Packers are that lucky. So I will say the Vikings in a terrible game. I will say the Vikings 17-13.
Oh, that's low scoring, man. The Vikings offense has been very explosive so far. That's one thing they can count on. One thing they can hang their hat on.
Look, I love Brian Burns. Frankie Louvu's out. That could be good because he's fourth in the league in defensive stops. But I don't know. I just see this being an absolute dumpster fire of a game.
I do want to just circle back and confirm. I do believe Bryce Young is officially playing.
Oh, he's confirmed?
Which I'm almost positive he's confirmed now. So not great for the Panthers' ancillary weapons. I kind of projected like a big Thielen game if Dalton played. I was actually into streaming Dalton himself, as yucky as it is. But that being said, I'm going to agree with you. I don't see the Vikings going 0-4. I think the Panthers are going to end up being one of the worst teams when it's all said and done this season. I'm going with Vikings. I'll say 27. Panthers, I'll say 13.
I didn't even think about that. That's a big Thielen vengeance game over here.
Yeah, right. Revenge game. Hey, I'm still taking the over on his receptions. It's 4.5, even though we don't get Dalton. I would have probably taken the over on up to like 6.5 if we had Dalton, but I still think Thielen will get about 4 to 6 catches with Bryce Young, even though they're not going to be as pretty or fantasy worthy, I would say.
Yeah. Love it.
All right, let's keep it moving. Commanders at Eagles. We have our first big spread of the day. Eagles 8-point favorites. Commanders coming in off of a thromping to my Buffalo Bills. Sam Howell looked like a child out there, got sacked 9 times, threw 4 picks. Commanders need a bounce back game in a huge way, and this is not exactly the team I'd want on the other side of the bounce back narrative. Philly, reigning NFC champions. Jalen Hurts, a little more pedestrian than we're used to seeing, especially from a statistical standpoint. They're winning games, so does it really matter? It's kind of the ultimate who cares kind of situation. But against the Bucks last week, Hurts was, he got his touchdown. That's a free bet. Hurts anytime touchdown. It's always the 0.5 line, free money, in my opinion. He's got the tush push. It's coming. You already know.
Yeah, can't stop it even if you know.
Yeah,
but you're right.
I heard it called the brotherly shove. I like that because
that's nice. Better than the tush push.
It's funny. It's clever. McFadden calls it the double cheek push.
Yeah, I can't mind that either. I think brotherly shove is probably the way to go.
You had a little head tilt there. Age head tilted. So I'll just go out and say that, like, look, if a team hotter than the Commanders came in against the Eagles, I'm dying to pick against the Eagles right now because of how pedestrian they've looked. It hasn't happened. The Eagles kind of have been riding this cupcake schedule that they've been given. They took care of business against the Bucks. I think they're going to take care of business against the Commanders. I'm projecting this game to be kind of a low scoring, kind of a slugfest. But I think Philly's defense they're not great this year, but they're okay. They're good. I think they're good enough to, give Howell some fits. Maybe Howell ends up having a big garbage time day, which I was kind of hoping Baker would last week, but I don't know if you saw Adrian, but Baker with 11 minutes left threw a touchdown pass to Mike Evans and then never saw the ball again.
Yeah.
It was just one of those stifling and for fantasy, it killed because Baker was my stream of the week on the fantasy waiver wire show, and it flopped because of that. You lost about 2 possessions there. But that being said, I digress. Commanders at Eagles. Give me Eagles. Give me the score of 28 to, I'll say 17.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't have much to add on top of what you said here. I think that Sam Howell is going to be in a world of hurt. I think the D-line. The only thing I'll say, I will mention is Jalen Carter is looking like as advertised.
Should have been the 101, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you look at what he was advertised as, take the off-field issues away, he's exactly as we expected.
He's special. He's a special player.
Oh, Howie, baby.
That's Howie.
Next week, I need a sound drop for Howie. Just some love heart.
You do.
Something really flowery.
You really do.
So I'll go. I'm predicting a bit more of a blowout. I'm going to go Eagles 30 to Commanders 17.
30-17,
Is
almost
that big a
exactly the
blowout?
same. So I
Is that
think I
a
said 28-17.
did you? Then
I
wait,
like it.
I had 30-10, but then you kind of convinced me a little bit. Now I'll take 30-17. All right.
Yeah, stick with it.
That's fine. Let's move on.
Keep it moving.
Speaking of Baker, so over Bucks at Saints. Look, let's start with the Saints. They're starting Jameis Winston.
Tough.
I think that's good. That's a downgrade. I know he was thrown into the game last week, but he just looked miserable. And look, as a Packers fan, I was happy when we pulled the comeback off. But part of me wonders if Derek Carr was moving the ball, Jameis Winston couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So the offense really stalled when he came on board. Their defense, though, has been balling, absolutely balling. They stomped Green Bay for 3 quarters. A couple big pass interceptions kind of threw them off. But they're going against Baker and the Bucks, who didn't really move the ball against the Eagles that well. Enough, though. What I will say is, to your point, is this chemistry with Mike Evans is undeniable, and I feel
Right.
like that's his go-to guy. It's working well. Mike Evans should have got paid. I know he's an older receiver, but seriously, Buccaneers should have got paid.
How frustrating was it when he kept dropping those balls, though? Yeah, Mike
Yeah,
Evans has the drops, man. Even when he's great, I mean, he's always gonna be one of the greatest players. Like, he's one of the greatest wide receivers of our time, but man, does that guy drop a lot of passes, man.
You know what? And you can see why maybe the Bucks didn't pay them early, but in
Yeah.
hindsight, everything's 2020. At the time, I was like, is he really? He'll get a big contract on the market, but I kind of understand their point of view here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, look, Baker had an int last week. He was lucky not to have had more. He had, Baker is always characteristically he's going to make some bad throws.
Yeah, 100%.
But he still looked to his defense. He still looks league average, and the Bucks have got some weapons.
Yeah.
So to put some context to this game, to the score I'm about to give here, these teams are combined for 11 TDs over 3 weeks total. That's
Yikes.
one less than the Dolphins last week. So the over under is 39.5. I'm taking the under. I think this is going to be an ugly game, but I'm going to pick the Bucks because I don't trust Jameis Winston. So I'm going to say 16-13. But this is like a slugfest, ugly. Alvin Kamara's back. I should mention that. So the Saints should get some running game going.
And you said Saints 16-13?
Yep.
I don't
No,
hate
sorry,
it.
Bucks
Like
16-13.
16-13. I'll just flip the pick and I'll keep a similar score. But yeah, it's gonna be gross. I'm gonna go with Saints 21, Bucks 17. I couldn't agree with your analysis more. Nothing more to add to it. You nailed it. You always do.
Stop it.
Broncos at Bears. Oh, Adrian, you hate me. Adrian assigned the games. And of course, he picked this one for me because he hates me. I don't want to talk about it. They both suck. Move on. No. Let's be
Do you
real
know?
here.
Can I tell you something
Yeah.
legitimate?
Yeah.
Now, Kevin knows this. I like to do a little bit of research before the pod because I like to know a few stats. That all I've got on my notes here is the Bears suck. That's
Yeah.
it.
They both suck. But you said that. This is victory lap time for you. You said all along they would suck.
We need a victory lap sound drop as well. I think
We
we
do.
need we're too early to victory lap, but I feel like there's some that we can call. The Bears is one of them.
Yeah, you absolutely deserve that. I'm gonna say that this game, the spread is true to form. I think that over under might be a little high, but the spread is true to form. Russell Wilson. I mean, look, he's looked better this year. It's important that we look past the record and the box score. He's looked better this year. Justin Fields has looked atrocious, but Brian McFadden brought up on the show last night that as much blame as he's getting and for as much as he probably deserves it, nobody deserves it more than the coaches that are putting him in those positions.
Oh yeah.
Horrible play calling, horrible scheming, simple route concepts like pee-wee type stuff. Fields is definitely smarter than that, and he's also a great runner, and he's not running. So this is just a blasphemous, ridiculous, stupid game, and I hate that it has to be played. I wish they could get away with not filming it and just telling us what happens. But alas, it's the NFL. We might have Broncos and Bears fans listening, so I'll show some love. Russ looks better than we all thought, and I like Roshan Johnson. There you go. There's your positive nuggets.
That's the flowers.
There's your flowers. I am projecting this game to be ugly, but maybe sneakily higher scoring ugly, but not super high scoring. I'll say Broncos 24, Bears. I'll say 10.
Yeah, I think Russ has played better. I've just looked at his stats now: 791 yards, 6 TD, 2 inch, 100 passer rating. That's an upgrade. Their offense played okay besides those sudden drops, sudden fumbles, even when they got trounced. But they are not playing the Dolphins here, so I think the Broncos will roll here.
Yep.
Let's go. I'll go 28-14.
Yep.
I think the Bears, and just to your point there about the Bears not running, it's almost like Eberflus listened to all the rants last year about Justin Fields has to be a better passer and took it to like the nth degree. It's like, yeah, he needs to be a better passer, but design some runs, man.
It's
He
so
rushed for the
stupid.
most in the league last year. What are you doing?
It's so stupid, dude. And I remember Justin Fields saying he was a lock to throw for 4,000 yards. There was a line on Prize Picks that was Fields over 3,000 yards, and I was like, well, if he's
Yeah.
confident he's going to throw for 4,000, I'll bet the over on the 3,000. Never listen to players when they're projecting their own stats. Never do
Right
it.
on.
All right. Thank you. This game in a nutshell, Adrian. Let's keep it moving.
Let's put it in the review. All righty. News that came out today, I believe it was, Deshaun Watson is questionable. Shoulder injury.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's shocking.
But you know what is weird? I'm kind of not mad. Dorian Thompson-Robinson looked fantastic in preseason, looked
Yeah,
exciting.
he's a
Seemed
stud.
just because of what they paid for Watson, they're not gonna let him start. Let's just throw that out
Do
there.
you think
But
so? I don't know. Questionable tags are kind of fickle, man. Like that, you can't take them at face value.
and no. But sorry, what I mean is there won't. No matter how good Dorian Thompson-Robinson could jump in this game and
Oh yeah,
absolutely ball out,
that's
and
what
he's
you
not.
mean.
But
I thought you meant like
because
this Sunday. I was like, he might still start.
yeah, no, he's no, he may still start. But what I'm saying is they'll
Yeah,
never let him not be the starter because
I see
then
what you mean.
the whole organization is getting wiped out at that
I
point.
agree.
Browns defense is number one. They're number one in almost every statistical category. They're giving up less than 10 points a game. Two of those games they held to it has his 2 games cumulative, 150 yards of total offense, 6 combined points. Just
Dogs,
insane.
dogs.
Um, you know what? And I don't know if off the top of your head, this might be a tall order, but when is the last time we saw a coordinator come in and have this kind of impact as Jim Schwartz has had on their defense?
Oh yeah,
I can't
no,
think of one.
he's great, man. And I love Jim Schwartz. He's been a great coordinator his whole career. I
Mm.
don't know why he's gotten slept on and thrown around so much. Buffalo did him dirty. I'll say it, man. When they hired Rex Ryan and they did not retain Jim Schwartz, they did him so dirty.
Good coordinator.
2015.
I think and you know what, the way he plays, he pushes the line, he gets the ball out quick, and he's got the team to do it now. With Miles Garrett, Darius Smith, their pass rush is
Yep.
demanding. Their defensive line is strong, so they've got the defense to play the way he wants to play, and it's obviously working. Miles Garrett, defensive player of the year at the moment. I'll put him on there. 93.8
Yeah.
PFF rating, 3.5 sacks against the Titans alone. Just a beast. So and look, obviously with Nick Chubb, they didn't get much going on the ground, but Amari
Right.
Cooper goes over 100 a tad last week, so
Of course.
that was good. I won't talk all about the Browns. So the Ravens, maybe I'm a sneaky Browns fan as well. I feel like I rave about them a bit.
They're very good on defense, man. One of the best
Yeah.
I've seen.
Ravens, the Ravens are so banged up, man. Listen to this. This is their injury list. RB1 Justice Hill, wide receiver 2 OBJ, wide receiver 3 Bateman, left tackle Ronnie Stanley may be back. Tyler Linderbaum center might be back. Then on defense, both linebackers Adafo Owe, David Ajabu, safety Kyle Hamilton, cornerback Marlon Humphrey. That's like 9 starters. 10
Yeah.
so
Disgusting. Classic
they have the
Ravens.
worst injury luck. Last year
Yeah.
was exactly the same. So
Yep. Every year is. Yeah.
yeah, so I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'll take the Browns here. I think this will be. I don't think it'll be a high flying affair. So I'll say 21-13. Yeah, because I mean, look, I don't see the Browns offense moving the ball that much, but
No,
I
me
don't see
neither.
the Ravens being able to get through this defense.
Yeah, so here's where we're gonna disagree pretty strongly. I don't know how many games we've been outright different on in our picks, at least a couple, but I
Yeah,
do
some.
believe the Ravens are gonna win this football game. Okay, Lamar Jackson is a wonderful, wonderful player. He's sort of matchup proof. I do think he'll be able to move the ball. I think Schwartz will have some stuff to throw at him, but I like the Ravens defense better than I like the Browns offense. And I think that the Ravens defense will be able to contain them and keep a lid on how much they score. I'm gonna say Ravens are gonna win this football game 21-17.
I got bad news for you, mate.
Oh, I got bad news for
Yeah.
you, mate.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, look, I mean, I
I like
respect it.
It's good. It's gonna
I,
be a good game, I think.
I respect it on face value because I love you, but
Back
deep
at
down,
you.
I'm like, dude, you're gonna
You
get dunked on next week.
Oh,
This
I
is gonna
can't
happen.
wait.
It's gonna
Oh,
happen.
dude, if I don't get I want at least 2 flashback screens, hopefully both going on you.
Can I tell you the funny
For-
thing?
What?
Here's the bathrobe. I thought of the flashback screen when we talked about Eagles Buccaneers, and I was like, the Bucks are gonna pull it off. And you're like, I
Oh,
won't
bring
dunk on
it.
you. So you had. That's why I thought of the flashback idea, and then the Eagles did dunk on the Bucks, and I
No
changed my
Adrian
tune.
flashback screen. That's weird.
Interesting, right?
That's kind of
They're just
weird. Who's the producer here again? Remind me.
the that's the scam producing for you. I can't hit 100% of my shots,
I
you know what
love
I
it. I love it.
mean?
All right, let's keep it moving. We are flying right now. Bengals at Titans. Hey, listen, man, I'm happy to get to talk about this game because look, I've been saying all year, wait until Joe Burrow goes out there and does it before you start him in fantasy. Um, I wouldn't say he exactly did it last week, but he definitely was better last week than he's been all year. He was funneling, peppering Chase with targets last week. It was a beautiful thing to watch. Chase looked like a man possessed, getting open, getting yak. So I think we're getting closer to seeing Joe Burrow. I don't think he's there yet, at 100% or at like a fantasy startable level. And the Titans have one of the worst offenses I've ever seen in my life. Literally one of the worst offenses I've ever seen in my life. Um, Tannehill is so far past cooked. It's not even fair to say cooked anymore. It's like disrespectful. And I can't believe he's still their quarterback. They have two nice pieces in the waiting in the wings. Probably Malik Willis will get the first crack based on everything I heard in the season leading up that he was sort of looking better than Levis, and I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see them both get a crack. Disgusting that the Titans didn't burn it down. They probably still should. It's not too late. Trade Derrick Henry. I'm serious. I'm not even joking. Like
I am so with you on this.
burn it down. Bengals might be shells of themselves, but it doesn't matter because of who they're playing week in and week out. So I'll go with Bengals winning this game because I think they're going to contain the Titans offense. They wreaked havoc on the Rams backfield last week. Sacked Stafford a ton. I want to say 7 times. Crazy. I think I'll go with Bengals winning this game. I'll say 27 to I'll say 10.
Yeah, okay. I think these offenses are both terrible. How's this?
Ooh, you
This
just
is
say terrible?
Here's something for you.
The Bengals
Yeah,
offense
both
is terrible.
at the moment. So here's something for you. This is the rankings, right? Total yards ranking: Bengals 30th, Titans 31st. Points per game: Bengals 28th, Titans 29th. First downs per game: tied for 29th. Average time of possession: Bengals 20th, Titans 19th. They are like on par with each other
Yikes.
in most statistical categories. I'm going under here. So 41, I'm going under. I take the Bengals 19-17. So I'm with Vegas on the +2, but
Yeah.
I'm going the under. And I think if Joey B wasn't nursing an injury, maybe I'd feel better about it. You're right, he did get Jamar Chase the ball more last week, but
Funneled.
I just don't see, a high scoring affair with the way they're both playing at the moment. And I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. And as always, I won't mention it the following week. So it is what it is.
That's right. As we've learned, as we've learned. All right, Age, take your lead here.
All right, so let's let Ahmad have some pop here. Some breaking news: Corey Lindsey, the center, All Pro center, injured reserve. So he's got a non-emergent heart-related medical issue. Praise to him. Hopefully, all is okay. We hate to see players go out with injuries,
Hate
especially
it.
non-football ones as well. So
Sad.
yeah, that
Very much
sucks,
so.
and that's a big loss for them. For what it's worth, like he was an ex-Packer. Loved Corey Lindsey. Um, so I still think the Chargers will roll here. The Raiders have an atrocious secondary. They've allowed 7 TDs, no ins through 3 games. Herbert, current. So I know you like to dunk on Herbert sometimes, but this is where he's at 3 games: 940 yards, 6 TDs, 0 interceptions. Leads the league in completion percentage.
Yeah.
He's having big games out here, despite their record. Mike Williams
Everyone
is
knows
out for
my
the year.
Herbert dunking is contingent upon him winning games and him being a top 5 quarterback. Like I
Yeah,
and I've said it a million times. I don't want to. I hate it. I want everybody to prove me wrong. I want sunshine and rainbows and butterflies for the world. But Adrian, they can't all be top 5, brother.
I hear. Look, there's no denying the success rate of wins. That is
But he looks
100% the
good.
case.
He looks damn
But he
good
does
right now.
everything he can. Yeah, I'm saying Brandon Staley's in trouble here.
Oh my god, he
He
sucks,
made
Adrian. Can he get
a,
fired, please?
he
He's the
was,
worst head coach I've ever seen.
if not for that Vikings pick at the end,
Yeah.
I, I believe this Brandon Staley would have been gone.
I
I
thought so. He
he's
called a horrible, horrible game. He botched everything. He always does.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Eckler is questionable. I don't think he's playing. Um, Mike Williams is out for the year. That sucks. Quentin Johnson will step up though. Keenan Allen was a beast last week. 20 targets, 215 yards.
Beast.
So,
Beast.
and you kind of look between Williams and Allen. You always expect one to be to be injured at some point. So Quentin Johnson will get his shot here, which
Oh,
is
so
great.
sad
But
about Mike Williams tearing his ACL, man. Hey,
yeah,
right off into the sunset. We'll see you next year. He's great.
100%. Couldn't agree with you more, Armand, on that one there.
Yeah.
McDaniels. So sorry to talk McDaniels for a second. Down 8 points. This is the week 3. Down 8 points. 2:55 to go in the game. 4th and 4 from the Pittsburgh 8-yard line, and he kicks a field goal.
Oh my God. He's
He
so
kicked,
cooked.
and this. What kills me is he doubled down when they asked him. They're like, oh, he's like, you still need another possession to win. It's like, yeah, I understand that, but you can tie it with an extra.
I
Uh,
don't even want to talk about it, bro. I've been playing Madden since I was 9, and I've known how to manage the clock better than these professional coaches. It's so stupid.
Seriously.
It's so frustrating.
Josh Jacobs has not been playing great, 2.4 yards per carry. Jimmy G's in concussion protocol, but I think we're expecting him to be back.
Right.
Devonta Adams is voicing unhappiness publicly. I don't know if you've heard this, but he's sort
Rightfully
of saying,
so. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. And he's like, I haven't got all day. He's not looking to build. He's looking to win.
He's not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Look, Devonta Adams, I'll forever love the man.
They should trade him.
And there was talks about him coming back to the Packers, and I was like, please, man.
I would love that. Yeah.
Oh, what a storyline. So the Raiders are trash. The Raiders coaching staff are trash. I don't trust Brandon Staley, but I think that the Chargers have got a lot more weapons. So I'll take the Chargers here. I'm gonna say 28-21, but I'm just gonna call this out that 21 will be garbage time.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm gonna say 31-20. Also Chargers. Yeah. Also, yeah, Armand, shout out to Chandler Jones. Prayers up, brother. Get the help you need. He's struggling right now. So he's wonderful, wonderful talent, and it sucks to see him kind of, having a tough time. Keeping it moving, we got Patriots at Cowboys. Cowboys 6.5-point favorites, over under 43. This is a really interesting one because the Cowboys were looking like one of the best teams in football. They were looking like the 1B to the Niners 1A through the first 2 weeks, and they just lost to the presumed first overall pick possessing Josh Dobbs-led Arizona Cardinals, my brother. I don't understand it personally. It was super bizarre. They got ran all over. The alleged 85 Bears duplicate Cowboys. Look, it sucks that they lost Trayvon Diggs. That's a gut punch, and it sucks.
That hurts,
especially for me. I love the Diggs family. Trayvon has embraced a lot of components of Bills Mafia, so hurts terribly. But that being said, you play with the guys that are out there. You keep it moving. Didn't think that would be the difference between them winning and losing to the freaking Cardinals. Huge letdown.
Loud.
However, like I said earlier, there are bounce back narratives and there are bounce back matchups that are favorable. And I don't want to sit here and crap on the Patriots. They took care of business last week. They're 1-2. I'm going to go out here and say that the Patriots are maybe less. I think people are lower on them than they should be. But I think this matchup they're going to be outmatched, in my opinion. I think they're going to be overmatched, outclassed. I think Dak is going to have a big game finally. I've been waiting for that signature Dak, 303 type game. I drafted him in our Dynasty League Superflex very early, so it's been hurting me to watch him kind of be so pedestrian, at least statistically speaking. He was winning games the first 2 weeks. That's all that matters. But, from a fantasy standpoint, I want to see him put it together. I think the Patriots aren't going to be able to move the ball much on this defense that should have a bounce back. And I think the Cowboys will do enough on offense to take care of the Patriots. I'm going to say this game is Cowboys 24, Patriots 13.
I wish you could see my screen so I'm not making this up. 24-13 Cowboys way. That's what I had on my screen.
Come on, man. Hey, we talk football together, bro. We know each other.
We can't agree on everything. I should just take the Patriots just to agree. No,
you can't. We're not. We disagreed a lot tonight.
Yeah, you're right. I think it'll be a bounce back. I don't put much into the Cowboys loss. Like I said, I think it's just they just do it every year. I don't know what it is. It's a Cowboys thing, and you know what? I think what it is I think every team has those games, but people just love to jump on the Cowboys sucking our bandwagon. So
they do.
Mac Jones is going to cop it all game. I don't see him being able to move the ball much, but it's going to be a defensive onslaught. Patriots got the 30th ranked receiving core / passing game, so I don't think Trayvon Diggs is going to hurt the Cowboys as much in this game. So let's say, look, I'll stick with my 24-13 Cowboys way.
Yeah, I like it.
All righty.
All right, good sir. This one's you.
I'm really sorry to have to discuss this game.
We love you. You're
This,
the
you know
GOAT.
what sucks is like if you just go back a month, this game was like everyone circled it on their calendar. This is man, it was just like,
Yeah,
it sucks to see. I can't remember the last time an injury had this kind of impact on the league. I don't know if you've got one, but maybe DeBar Hamlin. I'll
sure,
acknowledge
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, anyway, look, the Jets signed Trevor Simeon. That's not going to save him this week. They've said that financially, I saw this. I saw today that yeah, sorry, Aman, they really do, dude. They said today that ownership is not willing to pay for another high end kind of all veteran quarterback. So what Carson Wentz wanted when he called up, and I'm blanking now. Matt Ryan when he called up, they both didn't want to pay. They're like, Zach, you're stuck with the personnel you got. Zach Wilson is no different to who he is last year. The Chiefs are the defense is operating at top five, and the Jets offensive line is like, a turnstile. That you guys have that at train stations,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Turnstile, yeah.
turnstile, yep. Yep.
Well, that is what their
Swiss
offensive
cheese.
line
I
is.
like Swiss
Yeah,
cheese. Huh.
it's like you put a couple bucks in and you just bam straight through.
Mhm.
Chris Jones, he's had 2.5 sacks so far. I'd expect him to get another two. Um, Armand's not even watching it live, and I don't blame you, man. Look,
That's
you know
sad.
what? Well, let me tell you something, just because we can assimilate on this. When Rogers got his collarbone broken and Brett Huntley was starting for the Packers, I didn't watch him live either. I
Yeah.
got up for a couple games, and then I just started checking scores and watching highlights.
I get it.
So
I really do get it. And I wanna just say this, like, you know, we can dogpile on the Jets all we want, and it's gonna be a popular thing to do this year, and I feel bad about it. I wanna give credit where it's due. I don't love anything I've seen from Zach Wilson on the field, and for the most part in his career, I haven't loved anything off the field, but he has handled this season with a lot of grace.
yeah,
He was getting grilled by reporters about what Joe Namath was saying about him, what his team was saying about him. And he just stood there and, like the leader that he should be, like the guy who was drafted inside the top five should say, he owned it. And he was, for once, he was accountable. I think he might be growing up a little bit before our eyes. I don't know if he'll ever be a starting quarterback in the NFL, but I mean, damn, that kind of I don't know, that kind of pressure and that kind of moxie to show. I mean, it's not on the field moxie,
hmm,
but to show it, in these situations that are really tough, like I gotta give credit where it's due.
yeah, and that's the thing. Look, human element. I feel for Zach Wilson, but as a
Me too.
football fan, man, it sucks. So,
It's just yeah, it's awful.
Chiefs about the Chief.
It's gonna be bad.
They're gonna win. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. This is another one. I'm gonna say. Actually, I'm gonna up this. I'm gonna say 35-14, but I'm gonna
Okay.
say that the Jets. I'm gonna say the Jets score in garbage time.
To say 2 touchdowns for the Jets is very generous.
I'm gonna give
Um,
them one in garbage time.
I'm gonna go with, I'll say Chiefs because of how good the Jets defense is. I'm gonna say Chiefs 24, Jets 6.
Yeah, I didn't think I had a lower score for the Chiefs originally, but the Jets D is not even they're not playing as
They're not
kind
playing
of
as
as
well, yeah.
advertised. If
Well,
Sauce Gardner
because
is not the same
you know
man.
what? It's just hard to it's hard to mentally get yourself psyched up, but also too, you know
Totally
what
agree.
else? Bro, Zach Wilson's giving the ball away on the other side of the 50 all the time. That dampens a defense's spirits. That dampens defense's numbers. Like, though it's inflated because of points off turnovers, bro. I've said this before. People were hanging points on Buffalo's defense in week 1, like, oh, they gave up, whatever. I mean, it really ended up only being 16 points, but I said like 13 of them were off turnovers. How
Yeah.
can you really like, I'm not saying that it's not their fault still, but, like, you're putting them in unadvantageous positions. Armand's prediction, 35, Chiefs,
Man,
Jets 3.
this one's for you, bro.
That hurts.
Just because you're part of the show, my man.
That absolutely hurts. One more game, Adrian. We are flying through our recap,
Two more.
brother.
Two more.
2 more. Oh,
Two
okay.
more.
Is
And
there
this
another
one's on yours.
doubleheader?
Yeah. So, Cardinals, Cardinals 49ers.
Oh, when's that?
It's not a double header, is it?
Did we
Right?
just
I'm
not
not.
talk about that one? Did we just skip it?
Yeah, it might have been that. I'm because
Okay.
when I put these together, they might not always be
No
directly
worries,
in
no
order.
worries. Oh, we were in order for most of it. We got Monday Night Football, Seahawks at Giants. Giants are 1.5-point favorites? Question mark. Run to Vegas. Run to Vegas
Yeah.
right now. I like the Giants. I'm gonna be one of their defenders and one of their truthers. I love Brian Dable. I don't hate their personnel, but I think the Seahawks are due for a bounce back game. And I think the Giants are kind of struggling a bit right now to find an identity without Saquon. So hopefully Saquon comes back. I don't think it's going to be this week. Hopefully
Possibility,
Saquon.
but I don't think so.
Yeah, it seems like a long shot. I think Dimes will maybe have a little bit of a better game. But I'm looking for Gino to go out there and do some carving, like, Thanksgiving turkey style. I'm looking for Geno to have one of those games that we haven't seen from him yet this year. Maybe like a 302, 303 kind of game. It'll be really fun to see. But I'm going to go with Seahawks 27, Giants 20.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think so, man. The Wink Martindale blitzed the holy hell out of Brock Purdy last week, and it worked, which I'll talk about in the next game. But Geno against the blitz is averaging 8.2 yards per attempt, 3-0 TD in 127 passer rating. You cannot blitz a veteran like Geno, particularly with the way he's playing, and he's kind of come back to where he needed to be after the first week. So I'm going to say 27-24. I think this will be closer, but I think the Seahawks will take it.
Armand's projecting a Giants get dog walked. Seahawks 31, Giants 10.
Ooh.
That's tough.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't like the Giants. I'm not a fan. I know you're a truther, but
I believe in them. Just not this week.
I don't. I just don't. And to be honest with you, I didn't last year, even though they played better.
They're looking a bit fraudulent now in hindsight.
Yeah. On to our last game of the week.
Biggest spread.
49ers. Yeah. This is actually, you're right. I shouldn't have put this last as an accident.
That's a blowout.
It's a disgusting game to talk about. Like I said, the Giants blitzed Purdy. That's something other teams might try and do. The Cardinals do not have a pass rush. Evan Collins left last week, but it looks like he's healthy and he'll be active to play. But they still have a terrible pass rush. I don't think they're going to be able to do much here. To add to that, they are the 27th ranked run defense going against Christian McCaffrey. I wasn't going to mention this. I hate on pace stats this early in the year, but on pace 2K yards with 60 touches is ridiculous.
He's such a freak, dude.
They are ranked. So, EPA is a really good stat, I think, to sort of give an idea of how a team is playing. So EPA, for anyone who doesn't know, is kind of how many points that a team is either scoring against what you expect them to score or defensively giving up what you expect them to give up. They're ranked 5th in defensive, 3rd in offensive. They're balanced as they always are.
So good.
How's this? And I love my stats, and I got it. I'm trying to be Scab producer. I'm also trying to be Scab NFL stats for Jimmy Ray while he's not here.
I love it.
So this Purdy's last interception, right? Week 17 against the Raiders last year. Since then, including postseason, since that interception, he has gone 125 out of 190, 1,600 yards, 10 TDs, no interceptions, passer rating of 110.3. This guy was the last pick in the draft. He was thrown. He's 8-0 as a starter.
I'm so sick, Adrian, of people trying to discredit what he's doing. I am so frustrated by it. I'm hearing he's not great. He's not special. La la la. Dude, it takes greatness and being special to be that efficient, to be that good with the football. Yes, Kyle Shanahan deserves a ton of credit, but so does Brock Purdy. I'm so sick of the naysayers, bro. He's got such
he grit. Doesn't even. It's not even a made for TV movie. He deserves to be in a cinema. Like this. Yeah. This is a story. If they do I suspect they're going to the Super Bowl, but I don't think they'll. I think the Bills. I called that at the start of the year. Bills.
I like it. Stick with it. Stick with it.
Yeah, I will. But I know as a regular season starter, he's lost in the playoffs. He could barely throw the ball. They've scored 30 points every game. Exactly 30 points all 3 games. The 49ers, and the reason I'm talking about the 49ers a lot and not the Cardinals, because as good as the Cardinals, as good as the Cardinals have looked, or as moxie or plucky, or whatever you want to say, they're getting pumped here. This is going to be an absolute pump. Yeah. So look, I will say 30 points again, just to hear this stat, to 10.
I'm going to say 38-13. And it's been, I'll just say this. We thought the same thing about the Cowboys. Cardinals went out there and beat them. Cardinals, go do it again. Josh Dobbs, go do it again. Put yourselves more on the map than you are already. Adrian, this has been such a fantastic week of breaking down last week's NFL games, breaking down this week's upcoming matchups, bro. It has been such a blessing, brother. Thank you for your outstanding job as a Scab producer. We love it. Scab producer on the books, but the best producer in our hearts. Tied for one with Ant. It's all love.
I can't tie for Ant just because the Lions beat us this week. But otherwise, any other week, Ant is the
any other week. You're like, I can't have it. Yeah. But I want to thank the listeners. I want to thank Armand. I want to thank Jimmy Ray. Looking forward to hearing from you guys after you catch up on this one. This was a very fun episode as always. Mr. Adrian Revito, anything you want to say to the people before we peace out?
Look, I just want to, as always, subscribe, like, comment, share, do all that stuff. You know, as we hit real football now, it's always so exciting. And this is our new live time slot every week. So we'll be here every week.
Love
Ben.
that. We love that. And Jimmy's coming back next week, so that's going to be outstanding. We'll do.
The band will be back together.
Can't
We're
wait.
all for it. So we love you guys, man. It's been fun.
Peace and love, boys.